Okay, let's create those other two animations. And again, when you're doing a copy and paste, you are prone to error. I'm going to do that right now just to save time and reduce the amount of keyboard noise. So I'm going to create some more animations. This will be my soldier death anim is animation asset, and I can just type in something wrong because I'm just gonna copy and paste, even though it's telling me it's like, hey, that's in the wrong spot. And the soldier death one is essentially it's the same amount of information. I just need to point to the right image, give it a unique name. Let's see, let me check that out. My image was soldier die. And it does have 16. It is not cyclic. Basically, when this guy dies, unless he is, unless it's part of the gameplay, he's going to die. His animation is going to play once. So let me check. Soldier death anim. That looks good. I'm going to create one more. And this is going to be my soldier run anim. And I'm going to do one more copy paste over. Aha, I actually copied from the wrong area. See, this is what I mean. Copy and paste, you're not paying attention, something bad's going to happen. So I've got my 3 assets now. And here they are right inside of my animations. Let me get back to my script. So why don't I change this to my soldier run anim and run torch 2D and see how that looks. There we go. Now we have a blip here. And the reason is because the run one actually doesn't have 16 frames. It actually only has 15. And when it gets to that last frame, it's just going to pop. And there's a cell there, but it's empty. Let me have a look at that real quick. And you see down here, this is a valid cell, but there's nothing there. So that's not useful to me at all. So let me go back and change my soldier run anim to only have actually it looks like I messed up my other one, so now I have to go back. Yeah, there's 16 cells, but I start counting at 0, so all the other ones were messed up as well. And this is where copy paste will completely bite you. There, I've made those valid, and I fixed my soldier run, and let's run. There we go, nice and smooth. I suppose if we wanted to make them a little hyper, I could do that. By reducing the time it takes to complete an animation, and we can just get flat out ludicrous, really make them hyper. But that doesn't look right. So I'm going to change this back to 1. This is the animation time I've been modifying. And close out my assets. Okay, so I have a background image. I have an animated soldier that's running. Let me just go ahead and check out his death and make sure that it's not cyclic. Aha, error. What's going wrong now? Failed to acquire the asset, my assets, soldier death anim. More than likely I just used the wrong name, so let me open that up. Well, that looks right. Let me just copy and paste in here. So there's more to it than that. Let me open up my console log as a standalone. Kind of look through here. I'm going to do a search for soldier die. Soldier die asset.taml. That was not necessarily the name I was going for, but let's go check that out too. Soldier die image, soldier die.png. That all looks right. Let me run again, and actually when I look at it through the console, I can get some other errors with coloring actually. No, I bet it's the file name. Let's see, soldier. Yes. So I messed up my template. It's not foolproof. When I typed in the name, I just typed in soldier death anim, and it added the .taml extension onto that. Let's have a look again at our module, which will explain this problem. I'm declaring that all my assets are inside of the folder or subfolders of assets, and that the assets I want to use have the extension asset.taml. So in other words, it should be soldier death anim.asset.taml. And I'll fix this. I'm actually going to go to the OS level. Now, making these kind of mistakes for a video tutorial may not really seem professional, and they're definitely not intended. These are accidental mistakes, but sometimes you can learn just as well from your errors as doing it right the first time. So it's good for me to go through and use the console and find out the problems and debug as I go. Thankfully, it's nothing crash-worthy, because I can just get that image, that orange could not be found. Let me try running again. Fingers crossed. Yes! He is dying, but he's cyclic. And why is he cyclic? The reason he's cyclic is because I did not actually explicitly say you are not a cyclic animation. I've got my image frames and my animation time. There's something else in here. Animation cycle is false. Perfect. Dies once. If I hit restart toy, it'll just reload the simulation, or reload the toy, but it won't reload torque. So it's just playing the reset again. And you see, if I do it fast enough, he never gets a chance to finish, but there he is. Good old dying soldier. So while we've proved that our image assets for a sprite are fine, and we proved that our image assets are fine for using inside of an animation asset, and then our animation assets are working just fine as well. And that covers a lot of the basic ones. You'll use those a lot. So let's move on to ones that we don't actually have a lot of tutorials for, and that's creating audio assets, using them, and creating particle assets and using those. Creating an audio asset is really straightforward. Let me reduce this a little bit, shrink my window down just so you can get the full view. There we go. So if you remember, I had a wave sound, a dot wave. On Windows and OS X, dot wave is the format, the audio format that's currently supported. On an iOS device, like an iPad, you can actually stream and play MP3s. And that, unfortunately, is not available on Windows and OS X due to licensing issues. And in the future, it's possible that Torque2D will be updated so that it can use other compressed streaming formats. So for now, just for this, we have a simple WAV file. And I'm going to create, inside of the audio folder, a new TAML file. And this time I'll make sure to use the asset extension. So this is my title, music. And this is an audio asset type. And there's my audio asset. So what are the fields for audio asset? Well, I just need something really basic. So I'm just going to get the asset name. And I'm going to point to the file, which is audio file. And something really important worth noting is, let me just close this off real quick. when you're defining a raw image file, such as a .png, a .wav, or even pointing to an asset, another asset file, when I'm putting an audio file, I'm not using a path of any kind. I'm just saying it's the My Title Music Wave. And that means that the definition of this asset is inside of the same folder as the raw audio file. And it is possible to do pathing. You could actually use what are called expandos in TorqueScript if you wanted to, or expandos in the engine. But I'm keeping it simple. There's a reason I organized these folders the way I did. So I can just create the asset and say the raw file, the loose file you're pointing to is in the same directory. Okay, let's see. No violations that I can see, which leads me to believe my XML is structured properly, and Tamil should be able to load it. Yeah, so I guess we need to play this. Let's see. On reset, I need to use some functions. The ALX, basically open AL. If there are other sounds already playing, let's stop them all. And then I want to play my assets. I'm going to pass the asset ID. Remember, there's a difference. There's the asset name, and then there's an asset ID that's the module and the asset name together. And just because of the way audio works, it'll persist. When I go to destroy, I'm also going to stop playing the music. Now, I'm not sure if my video recording software is going to grab the internal audio. As I play this, I'll be able to hear it, and maybe the microphone will pick up on it, but you have to trust me when I tell you if it worked or not. So let me hit play. And I have audio successfully playing. Hopefully it shows up in the video. If not, then I'll try and record another video of it playing. If I restart this toy, the audio should restart. And it's not looping, so I'm not getting multiple audio sessions playing, because I'm always calling ALX stop all. So it should only happen. And in fact, if I switch out to say another one, like Flip Toy, my audio has stopped. Alright, that's good. So audio asset was really quick to create. Just to recap, it's an audio asset type, and needs an asset name like all assets do. And instead of an image file, I have an audio file field, and it's pointing to this wave file. And that covers the very basics of creating an audio asset and playing it.